The 4 import choke points that freeze America. First, map your exposure by origin and route. Picture a container ship tied up on a calm morning. The headlines say, the port is open. The apps say, in transit. Your retailer says, delay. And your shelf is still empty. Here's the part the herd never learns. The system doesn't fail everywhere. It fails at interfaces. The places where steel touches steel. Where paperwork touches cargo. Where one metro yard decides whether half a continent gets its parts. I pulled BTS port performance freight statistics. Murad's 2024 study on cybersecurity and national security threats, Federal Maritime Commission chassis reporting, and the CREATE program's own numbers. Not vibes. Instruments. 4 choke points. Each one is a verifiable mechanism you can map to your household categories in 15 minutes. Each one has a named trade-off, because nothing in logistics is free. And the last one on this list, the paperwork kill switch tied to pre-screening and sanctions over compliance, is the one the system hides behind the word security. Wait for it. Geography is not your prep. Interfaces are your prep. You don't run out of stuff. You run out of throughput. The enemy isn't a villain. It's predictable system design, concentration, interoperability collapse, and process friction that looks like normal delays, until you're the one without insulin, bearings, or pet food. The herd buys duplicates and calls it resilience. You map failure nodes and route around them. Named instruments survive elections. Goodwill dies on the first bad quarter. I filtered this list against 4 criteria. 1. A physical or legal interface that every unit must cross. No bypass fantasy. Point 2. A named, verifiable instrument. BTS, Murad, FMC, National Academies, TRB, CREATE, CBP, OFAC. Point 3. A concentration statistic, crane counts, market structure, or network share. That turns delay into math. Point 4. A trade-off with a concrete cost. Demurrage, detention, queue hours, maintenance, parts shocks, or hard capacity limits. 4 choke points cleared. You're going to map your exposure by origin and route, not by feelings. Number 1. Ship to shore, STS, port cranes, the giant single point. It's not the port that breaks first. It's the machines that touch every box. A ship is useless until steel meets steel. The first physics wall is the lift. No lift, no flow. Run the numbers. BTS Port Performance Freight Statistics, 2025 Annual Report, puts hard counts on the interface machines. Port of Los Angeles has 84 ship-to-shore cranes. Long Beach 75, NJ 70. Savannah 38. BTS also notes the top 25 container ports operated 570 ship-to-shore gantry cranes in 2024, with 248 classified as super post-Panamax. Most people blame port congestion. That's theater. It's not the port. It's a concentrated crane fleet with a vendor and remote access surface area. MARAD's 2024 study of cybersecurity and national security threats focused on ZPMC. An estimated 209 cranes of all types operating in at least 23 U.S. ports, and STS cranes that may be controlled, serviced, or programmed remotely depending on configuration. House investigations also publicly state ZPMC accounts for about 80% of STS cranes in operation. That's not shipping risk. That's maintenance and parts risk. Now the trade-off. Cranes aren't the only constraint. Yard space, labor, trucking appointments, rail windows, those still choke you. But cranes are first. They're the hard gate. Your recon task. For meds, vehicle parts, electronics, pet food. Assign likely ocean entry gateways, LA, LB, NY, NJ, Savannah, Houston, Seattle, Tacoma, Oakland. Score crane concentration. PRC made reliance, crane count, and nearby substitutes. Even if the cranes can lift, your box still needs wheels. Number 2. Container chassis pools, the invisible wheels. It's not shortages. It's a controlled bottleneck that turns containers into statues. A container without a chassis is a brick. It can be available on a screen and still be physically immobile. This isn't a rumor. The Federal Maritime Commission Joint Status Report dated the 1st of March 2022 documents supply chain harm tied to closures and withdrawals involving CCM interoperable gray chassis pools. It explicitly cites closure of the Chicago and Ohio Valley Consolidated Chassis Pool, COCP, and disruptions tied to Ocean Carrier and IEP chassis being withdrawn from interoperable pools. It's not a shortage. It's market structure. Interoperability versus closed, proprietary pools. When carriers and IEPs pull equipment into closed pools, motor carriers burn hours on deadhead moves, empty chassis travel, and terminal queue time. Your delivery delay is chassis allocation policy. If you need the spine, you got it. National Academy's TRB Special Report 352, 2024, Intermodal Chassis Provisioning and Supply Chain Efficiency. Congress requested it. That's your proof this bottleneck sits at national scale. The trade-off is brutal. Interoperable pools improve choice, but they don't create metal. When import volumes spike or a major pool collapses, the cost appears as demurrage and detention, failed appointments, and missed warehouse labor slots. A Chicago area trucker put it blunt: you don't lose money hauling freight. You lose it hunting a chassis and burning your clock. If your cargo escapes the port on rail, your choke point moves inland, into the interchange maze. That's next. 2 choke points down, 2 to go. Now you're going to watch the herd keep blaming the ports, while your map shows the real graph: cranes, chassis, rail interchanges, and then the paperwork kill switch. Next up is the inland circuit breaker, Chicago. Where create admits nearly 1/4 of the nation's freight rail traffic touches one region. After that comes the quiet freeze. CBP holds, CSI prescreening, and OFAC driven over compliance. Keep your pen out. Chicago, the circuit breaker crossroads. If the coast is the mouth, Chicago is the throat. Most people picture failure at the shoreline. Wrong interface. The inland break happens where railroads hand freight to each other and to trucks, under schedules written for normal times. Here's the structural advantage you're exploiting. Concentration you can't wish away. The CREATE program states it is addressing a region where nearly 1/4 of the nation's freight rail traffic moves through the Chicago area. That's not a busy city. That's a national switchyard. When that node slows, it doesn't just delay Chicago. It backpressures ports, starves inland warehouses, and scrambles appointment systems that look digital until they hit a physical interchange. Your route map gets sharper. Anything that enters through LA, LB or NY, NJ and goes interior is likely to touch this throat, directly on rail, or indirectly through a warehouse network calibrated to Chicago transit times. Trade-off. You don't bypass Chicago for free. Routing around it means longer rail miles, different interchange partners, and you pay in transit time and inventory carrying cost. If you push freight to trucks to dodge rail gridlock, you pay in driver hours, fuel, and higher spot rates, because capacity is finite. A Midwest warehouse picker said it clean: when Chicago chokes, the inbound trailers don't stop. They just stop arriving on time. Now you've got the physical graph. The last choke point isn't physical. It's a legal stop sign with a barcode scanner. Number 4. Washington, the paperwork pressure plate. Cargo moves until a database says it doesn't. Remember the last one, the paperwork kill switch tied to pre-screening and sanctions over compliance. This is it. The system calls it security. You experience it as empty shelves with plenty of ships on the water. Your named instrument stack is simple and ugly. CBP holds Container Security Initiative, CSI, pre-screening logic, and OFAC-driven sanctions compliance inside private carrier and broker workflows. One data mismatch, shipper name, consignee, commodity description, country of origin ambiguity, and the box becomes radioactive. Not late, immobilized. It can sit at a terminal, a rail ramp, or a bonded warehouse while everyone waits for clearance to touch it. Structural advantage for you. This choke point hits selectively. The herd panics at shortages. You identify categories that are paperwork sensitive, pharma precursors, electronics components, chemicals, machine parts, and you pre-plan alternates. Different origin, different importer of record, different SKU class, different stocking horizon. Trade-off. Security friction is not free friction. Every extra day on hold risks demurrage, detention, missed rail windows, and storage charges that get passed straight into retail pricing. Or the shipment gets abandoned because the paperwork cost exceeds the cargo value. Most people scream at the retailer. You read the interface: steel, wheels, rail, then law. That's 4. Now run the pattern. These 4 choke points share one trait the herd refuses to model. Each one is an interface where throughput becomes permission. A crane lift, a chassis allocation, a Chicago interchange slot, a CBP, CSI, OFAC clearance decision. You don't run out nationally. You get locally throttled at concentrated nodes, and the throttle propagates like a wave through schedules, warehouses, and pricing. Dark truth. The freeze is often self-inflicted. Companies overcomply because the penalty risk is asymmetric, so they choose delay over exposure. You pay for their fear in time and product availability. Do your recon today. Build a list of your top 30 household items by origin category. Map their likely entry ports, then mark whether they move by rail toward the interior, especially through Chicago. Finally, flag which items are paperwork sensitive and track their HTS, commodity descriptions, and supplier countries. Geography doesn't take bribes either. Class dismissed.